All right, happy Monday, guys. We've got the World Series here. We've got the NBA, and we got Monday Night Football. Big day for sports. All right, so Dodgers are traveling to Yankee Stadium. Obviously, they're coming back off of the West Coast portion here. So now back on the East Coast, pretty drastic weather difference, but we got a lot to unpack here. Last video, didn't put out any video yesterday. Just I had a very, very busy weekend. I'm sure you can tell. The last baseball video was rushed. We made some mistakes on names. Nestor Cortez and Rodon. I've got them confused all season. So I'm thinking Rodon. I said Rodon. It's okay, guys. It's going to be okay. We know what we're talking about still. We recapped last game. We did pretty good. We went 3-2, up about 3/4 of a unit. So we'll take profit. World Series, not a lot of options here. So if we're walking away with profit, that's a good day. All right, let's start to unpack this. Let's get into the pitch report, park factors. You can screenshot this, maybe make some bets. So we've got Walker Buehler going up against Clark Schmidt. We're going to go pretty in-depth into these two pitchers here, but you can see the weather. We're going to have somewhere between 5 to 8 mile an hour winds coming in from the west-southwest. So it is going to impact runs. Obviously, there is a big temperature difference going from Los Angeles to New York. So it's going to be around 50, low 50s, 53, 52 at game time. It's only going to drop about 1 degree, so it's going to be around 51 by the time the game ends. We haven't really seen these cold weather games impact the runs too much, surprisingly. Actually, I think we've seen the over hit more despite the cold weather. But I do have a slight lean today towards the under, if I'm being honest. Don't know if I'll actually play it. That would just be where I would lean. But let's talk a little bit about these pitchers. So, Walker Buehler, his last start was fantastic. He was pitching against the Mets. He had everything working. I mean, he was able to locate his fastball. Buehler and Schmidt, these guys are very similar in the style. They like to go away. They will go away, 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 except for their cutters. They will come in on lefties, but these are two very similar pitchers in terms of how they like to throw hitters. So to me, it really just comes down to, is Buehler going to be as sharp? I just don't think he's going to be as sharp as he was against the Mets. I mean, he had everything working. That curveball was nasty. His cutter was moving. He had so much vertical drop. His spin rate was super high. Yeah, I just have a hard time believing that he's going to keep this up again. And if we kind of look at his mix here, I like it for the Yankees. The Yankees are very strong against the fastball, cutter, and slider. I mean, these are pitches that he relies on quite a bit here. So he throws the fastball, 29.1% of the time, cutter 21% of the time. Curveball and slider is, curveball. We'll say curveball is where he could have some success, right? I think that if that curveball's on, he might have an okay day, but I just don't love it. On the other side of the mound for Clark Schmidt, he throws the cutter a pretty decent amount of time. I will tell you the Dodgers are very weak against the cutter. Really, the only guys that hit the cutter pretty well, Tommy Edman, who's been on fire. Freddie Freeman got a 373 WOBA against the cutter. Shohei is hitting 475 against the cutter. So that does kind of bode in his favor, but I will tell you Clark Schmidt pitches lefties very well. 167 against lefties. Really, righties have been the side that's kind of given him trouble. It's kind of flip-flop. Buehler's pitched okay against lefties. Righties have been able to kind of tee off on him a little bit. But like I said, both of them like to work away. So hard hit percentage is pretty low for both. The other main pitch for Schmidt would be the slider, which he throws 25% of the time. Again, not a lot of guys that hit the slider very well. Mookie does okay. Edman, again, does okay. Kiki Hernandez is all right. Shohei's pretty damn good. He's 495 WOBA against the slider. So there are some guys. But what will Shohei look like, right? Hurt his shoulder in the previous game. They said he's fine. He should be in the game today. Will he make it through the whole game? I don't know. We'll have to see if there's any impact there. But if we look at the hitting, a little bit concerned, right? We look at the Yankees hitting 114 over the last 30 days, 295 on base percentage, a WRC plus of 71.1. That is bad, right? 100, think of 100 as the average. So they're 30% below average if you kind of look at it from that perspective. Flip side, The Dodgers are crushing the baseball. 329, 169.5 WRC plus, which is absolutely insane. So that is makes things kind of interesting. Let's talk a little bit about this. So both pitchers have gone, it's been 11 and 12 days since they've thrown. We haven't really seen that be too much of a factor, but that said, there's a big difference between throwing bullpens and actually throwing in a game. So there's a variable there. We already talked about how the Dodgers are weak against the cutter and slider, which are the two main pitches for Schmidt, but they are very, very good against the sinker. They will crush a sinker, which he throws 21% of the time. So there's an edge there. Like I said, both pitchers are very much similar in their approach. They both like to work away. They work away. I just don't have a lot of faith in Buehler, right? We saw him have a great first start, or this last start, I should say. But, man, that was just everything went right for him. I mean, literally. I don't know if you watched the game, but that couldn't have been – that was a masterful pitching performance. And we've kind of seen him go over the last 6 weeks. Good start, bad start, good start, bad start. So if you go off of that, he's due for a bad start. Not a lot of familiarity here. Soto is 2 for 10 versus Buehler. Other than that, there's really not a lot there. The Dodgers have 13 combined at-bats versus Schmidt. I will tell you Shohei's 1 for 3. So if you're looking for a little edge there. Other than that, no one has a lot of success there. Obviously, we got to factor in they're traveling cross country. You got weather changes. All that stuff matters. Judge, the books are projecting Judge to have a great day. If you look, not sure if I buy it, though. Judge is 6 for 40 this postseason. He's got 55 career postseason games. He's got 85 Ks. Dude is striking out at a pretty high clip. So, you can get plus money on his over 1.5 Ks today. He struck out 3 times in the last 2 games. If we keep going, his strikeout rate's crazy high. He's over this in his last, 4 or 5 games. So, that might be an angle to kind of take his K prop there. I don't have it on here, but I could definitely see that hitting. Let me put it that way. So he is, let's see, against Cleveland, he had 3, let's see, let's go his last 5 games. He's had 3, 2, 2, 3, 3. So he is a K machine. You can get over 1.5 Ks for plus 175 on BetMGM right now. So if you think Judge is going to have a bad day and you think he's going to strike out, that's a pretty sweet angle to take, but not one I'm going to take. Like I said, best bet right here is going to be first 5 run line. Let's talk a little bit about all these wonderful best bets. So, like I said, Yankees first 5 run line. I think Schmidt's going to have an okay day, but I think Buehler, I think they should be able to get to Buehler. Like I said, I got to see it. That last start was fantastic, but you got to prove it to me. Show me another one. Juan Soto over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He's just on fire. There's just no way. It's too good a value at minus 120 to fade him. I know the wind is going to be blowing in from the right field, but Soto is a line drive hitter. That really should not impact him a whole lot. So could definitely see him hitting this, especially if the books think Judge is going to have a good day, right? He gets on, Judge knocks him in, boom, we hit. Give me Clark Schmidt over 13.5 outs. So a couple of reasons on this. A, I don't trust the Yankees bullpen. They've been pretty bad. B, tomorrow you've got Luis Gil going. Gil throws a lot of pitches. He is going to walk guys. He goes deep into counts. He's not going to make it long, which means you're going to have to use your bullpen tomorrow. Probably going to have to go to your bullpen, best case by the 5th inning. So to me, obviously they're already planning ahead for that. I think Schmidt goes pretty deep today. Like I said, he likes to work away, doesn't give up a lot of hard contact. Given the weather and the wind, should be able to hit this. Walker Buehler under 14.5 outs. Kind of the opposite. Now that said, tomorrow should be a staff day for the Dodgers, so they do have to think about that. Obviously, they have a lead in the series, so could they technically leave him out there to kind of die on the vine a little bit? They could, but this Dodgers bullpen is significantly better, so I do think they're going to have to go, probably makes it through 3 innings for sure. It's a tight line, but I like the under 14.5. And then the parlay, Buehler under 4.5 Ks and over 3.5 hits. So I like that. I just don't see him getting 5. I know he got 6 in his last start. Yeah, there's some guys that okay, right? Judge obviously being one of them. But I just think I think they get to Bueller today. I don't necessarily want to take the full game because, like I said, I don't trust this Yankees bullpen. But if we're going Bueller versus Schmidt, I think they do have a huge pitching advantage on the Yankee side. Obviously, they have the home field advantage. That said, we know the Dodgers are hitting the shit out of the ball, so it's a little bit scary to fade them for sure. But that's kind of my angle. So fade it if you want, but that's where I see it. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't yet, give the video a thumbs up, like the channel, subscribe. It's free. It means a lot to me as we continue to grow the channel. And I'll be back with some NFL and NBA videos later today.